2025 is over, so depending when you watch this, either Happy New Year or a Guten Rutsch, which means like slide well into the new year, you know, you say that beforehand. And usually at this time I upload a video where I talk about the past year, my thoughts about the channel, everything that happened, what's on my mind, and also what's next. Like for example, and I'll take this away right away, I'll do a break again, so in January, maybe February, I will not upload videos, but don't take this as set in stone. If I just feel like making a video because I actually really enjoy it, but I need to, like, you know, also take a break because that just doesn't happen. Like I always work 7 days a week without holidays or so. So I need this to recover a bit, but it's actually a free time activity of mine to also record videos because I enjoy it. So it's always a bit complicated, but I need to get my mind out. So talking about 2025, I don't think it's a big secret, this was the most insane year ever on my channel. Not even like a little bit, but like so far shot away that I will show more details this time that you get an understanding of that. Not because it matters all too much, you know, but I like to talk about statistics, analytics and things like that because I really enjoy numbers. But I also know that's not for everyone, and hey, this video is also not for everyone, that's totally fine. You don't need to watch it, it's just like a summary. So what happened this year? Well, Megabonked, right? In April, I believe, we started with the demo version. I got so addicted to it that I actually skipped uploads because I was playing it all the time and trying to go for world records and just having fun with it. And then in October, the full version came out. I don't think anyone expected that Megabonked will be a hit. You know, I thought it will get more attention than a demo version because a lot of stuff gets added and demo was already a lot of fun, but Horde survivors are usually quite a niche thing unless a game manages to be more catered towards the general audience. And combining Risk of Rain, which is very popular but a very niche thing on its own, together with Vampire Survivors, which is, you know, for the general audience, but that like combination takes away a lot of this generalization. And I was concerned it may not have any success at all, like even maybe less than the demo version possibly, because people got tired of it, and I didn't know how the full version could be done in a way that really excites people, but Vedinat managed to do it. And I would say maybe we'll first take a look at that. October 2025 obviously focused on Megabonked, 2 uploads a day, sometimes even 3. One of them always Megabonked, which takes super long to record and to edit because of the item cards I put in, but also just because they are very long runs and a lot of fails. So I had pretty much zero free time at all to do anything, but it was worth it. That month made up 11 million views of my entire channel, which right now is roughly 95 million views. It's a little bit earlier than, like, you know, New Year. It's the 21st of December because I want to have this finished. But yeah, 11 million views of my entire channel. That's 11.6% of the views that I've ever made. That is ridiculous. That is completely ridiculous. In a singular month, I never thought I would see a day like this, where I get so many views, because the second most viewed month was September 25, so right before that, but that's already where Megabonked started. I believe it came out on the 19th of September, which had 4 million views. And then the next highest one was last year in November 24, where hype around Dungeon Crawl existed, which brought in a ton of people. And in November I started playing Brotato again, and there was the DLC that came out. So that was 3.8 million views, which was insanely successful, but at that time, you know, also looking at the past, I was like, okay, I hope one day I'll hit 5 million views in a month, like one day, ever, because the whole content strategy that I have is I just want to be stable. I don't really want to chase after popular things, you know, and then disgruntle my audience. Now, if something fits to me and it's very popular, jackpot, but I don't want to just go after anything. So, but this means I look for the stability. And yeah, so I was like, okay, 5 million views, you know, steady growth, stability growth, this would be great to hit one day. 11 million. 11 million. That is almost 3 times as my second most watched month. That is absurd. And just for comparison, by the way, the money made in October 2025 is 421% of the highest months I've ever earned that exceeded 3 million. Okay, that is a weird way to explain it. You see a graph in front of you, right? So August 24 down there has 3 million views. That is like the last month that managed to get more than 3 million views. And I took that as a basis 100% because I was also the lowest value. And you can see the other months in comparison here. And the October 25 made more than 4 times the amount of money there. And money, you know, I actually don't care a lot about money, but it's a little bit conflicting because you'll also see me go a lot after money, and the reason is I just want stability. I want to avoid risk that one day I stand here and, you know, YouTube fails, and after 10 years or so, I have to go find a job, and it's like, yeah, but Dex, you've been out of a job for 10 years. I'm not gonna hire you as an IT software engineer. You don't even know your stuff anymore. You haven't done that while you were out, and I'm like, yeah, well, you're right. I don't know what to do now. I can't really get a good job, you know? So that would be horrible. So what I want is security. I want to be done with it without sacrificing integrity. Which is also a big reason why I barely ever do any sponsors, for example. I don't like it. I don't like being forced into doing a thing that I don't feel like. I always say, and I don't know if you know that, but I always say exactly what's on my mind. If I notice a sponsor is trying to limit what I say, like something negative, I will not take the sponsor, even if it would have been a perfect fit. Now, sometimes, okay, there's a little bit of flexibility. Let's say the sponsor says, hey, we have this game, we want to showcase it to you, you have an early version that no one else has, so you can make the video that it's done for release, but there is this problem, we are aware of that, we are working on this, we'll fix it. Please don't mention this, because no one will ever get to see this, but it's a very annoying thing, this bug. And then I'm like, okay, I understand that, I'll not mention that, that is just human interaction, right, understandable. But let's talk about also the channel, right? Like, how has the growth been? So in 2022, we had 17 million views. Yes, first year of doing content creation, this many views, which has blown my mind. I only have like less than a handful of months that had less than 1 million views, which is absurd. If you think about it, you know, because usually you start with slow growth. But one curse that I kind of always had is, yeah, my months always have at least 1 million views. But I also don't really have a lot of growth, but I don't mind it. Because even in that year, I earned more than enough money for me to be stable, like not to be very comfortable, but more than enough to be stable, you know, more than the average income of Germany. So I was happy with that, though I don't have certain luxuries. I have to pay for my own health insurance and other things, you know, there are no bonuses, of course, because the money that I earn is the money that I get, and I have to pay additional taxes on it, because there are 3 taxes that apply to it. Yes, 3 different ones. But yeah, that year already would have been fine. You know, if I always earned that, I would have been more than happy. That is our baseline 100%, because that's the lowest value. 2023 actually saw a somewhat of a decline, because you'll notice, even though it has 18 million views, I only gained 52,000 subs. And this was a little bit of a difficult year for me, because I only did Vampire Survivors, and I was like, well, the game is a little bit fizzling out. Then listen, there's a lot of content that like I can do, and there are a lot of updates, so that's not a problem, but people are leaving faster than they come in. And that is very bad for a content creator, because you don't want to be left behind and stuck. And I was pretty much in 2023 entirely focused on trying to find new things. To reinvent Dex, to go more after Horde Survivors, and then fan out even more, maybe roguelites, roguelikes, something like that. Something that is more appealing, but 2023 was a difficult year, where I really tried to find myself and a new path my channel takes. And like Vampire Survivors was, for example, always pretty much limited to 20k views. This was like everything that I always got on every video. The worst performer was like 16k views. The best performers were really high, like over 100k views, because like, you know, old people that got it in early 2022, they were checking in with the new stuff, and it was really popular because Garlic or Poe and things like that. But that was nothing common. It was rare. So that was a difficult year for me, but at least the revenue went up by 12%, and it was also a time where I stopped doing double uploads, so this should also be mentioned, because in the first year I always uploaded 2 videos a day, if not 3, and in 2023, this was also after a breakup, you know, there was a little bit emotional stress, a lot actually, but like I needed to tune it down, so uploading half or even less of that in a year and still earning more and being more successful than the last year was great for me, but I knew something had to change. And the main changes appeared in 2024. Dungeon Crawler, other games, you know, I fanned out a lot, and many of them found success, which shows, because in that year, 25 million views, 69, nice. 26,000 subscribers, 26% of the total subscribers, 26% of the total views as well, funny enough, and money-wise, 267% compared to the first year. So I'm in a very, very, very absurdly comfortable spot. Like, combine the 2 years together, right, the previous 2 years, this year I had earned more than that. And at that point I was like, okay, you know what? I'm fully committed to YouTube. Like, before that I had certain thoughts, if something, like, if the hype goes down, if I don't find a replacement to Vampire Survivors, like other things I can do, I have a problem and I wanna consider that. I don't wanna be just suddenly, you know, I wake up, everything is burning and I have nothing left. But I also thought, after this year I'll see a decline. Because 2024 was very lucky, right? Dungeon Crawler, this huge success of a random game, and then into Potato DLC, which took very long to come out because we started playing that in 2022, so it took more than 2 years. For the DLC, I was like, I don't know what to do next year. I'll try my best. 2025 didn't start all too well, honestly. I don't have the stats in front of me. Yeah, okay, I see it on my analytics here. But, like, honestly, it was okay. There was still a lot of after effect from the hype months of 2024, you know, Dungeon Crawler again, Potato at the end of it was November 24. But there was still a lot of after hype, but I noticed, in general, the videos were not doing that great. Like, the main ones, Potato especially, did amazing, but nothing else. So I wanted to get out of Vampire Survivors and be more variety, that I check out more, but now I replaced Vampire Survivors with Potato. You know, so good job, Dex. But at least it keeps the channel going, and I can find new things alongside while I'm doing that, you know? So that I wasn't all too salty, I wasn't or unhappy or concerned, but at the same time I was like, okay, I need to keep an eye on that. 2025, let's make it short. 35 million views. That is 37% of my entire channel's views. And again, October alone made up almost 12% of my entire channel's views. 82,000 subscribers, that is 31.3% of my entire subs. And the big money, 447%. Which I don't think is more than the other years combined. But almost. It's actually quite close, right? Like, I think the other years are 478, if I see that right, or 79. So this is actually not that far off. Like, in 1 year to earn what I earned the previous 3 years, and again, the 100% was already more than enough for me, technically speaking. Super happy, super safety cushion for the future. No, I didn't spend it all on beer, just like 90%, but I make sure I have a very, very big cushion. Nah, jokes aside, okay. I save up like 90% of the money, if not more. I think it's actually more than that. And yeah, I don't know what to expect in 2026. Like, I'm super happy about this. I think I'm like 99% sure 2026 will definitely be a worse year. Like, look at the views, right? I would need such insane months more frequently. And I don't even want to go after them, they just pretty much happen with things that I already enjoy and love. So it's a little bit hard that they happen because it's so random, and it may just not happen the entire year. But I'm also fine if it's not better, like there's no pressure, it doesn't have to be better, I just want to have a ton of fun, while still being dedicated to it, you know that it's a business, it's a job, okay? But the main focus is having fun, and also especially that you guys have fun. Which is also a fun topic to talk about a bit, well, kind of. Because many people always view, like, going after views as something negative. And I'm like, hey, that's the best feedback you can get whether people like something or not. Is views. If they click on it, it shows whether they are interested or not. It's even better than a like and dislike ratio, because like and dislikes are actually heavily influenced by a subjective feeling the viewer has. Like, if there's a one particular very good moment in a video that I made them laugh, and they're like, oh my god, that was amazing, I'll give it a like. And that video all of a sudden has a ton of likes. So if you check that out, you're like, oh my god, the people love this game. I need more of that. No. They love that moment. Or maybe they love this particular video for what it was, but it has nothing to do with the game itself, you know? So views are always the best indicator with watch time a little bit. Not as much as you would think, but also to a big degree. But views are the best indicator to know, do people like that or not? That's how I view it. Not as a money thing, but as a interest thing for people. And that's also why I went so ham on Megabonk, because it was a huge success. And we gotta see now how it develops, you know, whenever you have such hype months, such insane months, people get exhausted by the game. Okay, so I'm also exhausted by Megabonk, though the update now was amazing to really get me hooked again. But the thing is, whenever people get exhausted, at one point they stop watching your content because they came for Megabonk, but they don't find other things interesting, so now they no longer click your videos, which also means all of your videos get recommended to a massive audience. And we had a massive audience there. I think it was 3 million different people. And now it's, for example, back to like 600,000, so a huge difference. But they all get it recommended, don't click on it, so the algorithm is like, oh no, these videos are bad. Not even his viewers like it, so they get suppressed. And that is just a natural thing that happens, but this will balance itself out, but who knows when that exactly happens. But I'm not concerned, I would say. I'm just really happy how insane this year was, and moving forward, I still love doing YouTube. I'm really excited about it. Fun fact, one thing I've considered is doing a side job, you know, where I work for 1 or 2 or 3 days, like half day. Not for the work or anything, not even for resume reasons or so. But because doing something like YouTube as an absolute introvert who actually enjoys mostly being on my own, like it's not even that I hate being around others, I just have a lot of fun on my own. So I don't see people aside from grocery shopping and eating, and that's it. So always also the same people. But, you know, it's not personal. You don't talk to them really about your day or anything. And I noticed, after doing this for, like, full-time now for 3 years, but it's very isolating, you know, and that's not great. It's not that much fun, because you don't get to know that many people, and most people I get to know are online, which is also cool, you know, to get to know people, if they're in the same time zone at least, but it's also just online. You don't get to feel someone, you don't get to touch someone or see someone with your eyes. Okay, that sounds weird now with the touching, that's not what I mean. You know, like if you just do a hug or a handshake or hand on the shoulder, you know, when you're talking, when you're comforting someone or so, or someone comforts you, those things are not possible online. So maybe I'll do that one day and you hear Dex talk about how annoyed he is because he's dealing with some customers or something like this in the next years. Who knows? Maybe not, because again, really love YouTube, really love everything about it. It's just very distancing. Is there anything else to say? I mean, big thank you to all of you that you allow me to do that. You know, I'm really wow, because this has always been a dream of mine to do YouTube, though it was like a thing where I knew it will not happen. You know, like if you want to be an astronaut, but deep down you know, okay, it will not happen, but I enjoy the thought of it. I enjoy aiming for it, you know, thinking of it. So I am in the belief, but I'm realistic. And this is how I was with YouTube. And not only that it happened, but that it keeps going up is such an insane thing to me, such an absurd thing. I still don't understand how that all happened and why people are still there. But I don't need to understand it, you know? You guys just need to have fun and enjoy it. And that actually makes me a lot of fun. Like, I read every single comment written on my channel. I respond to a ton of them. I think in 2025 it was like 2,200 comments or so more now since the stats came out. I do that a lot, like interact with things because it matters to me. And just seeing, like, the positivity and everything is insanely nice. You know, how much people enjoy the videos, how much people enjoy me and things like that, which makes sense, right? If they watch me, that doesn't mean I'm generally amazing, it just means for this particular group, I'm great to watch. But that is enough, you know, you don't need more. You don't need to compete with everyone else. But I guess we are now at a size where it's actually getting to a point that we have like a really, really big channel, also view-wise especially. It's actually way more than the average channel at this point. And I'm just happy and proud, you know, of all of you guys, of me as well, okay? I can be a little bit arrogant, it's my channel, but without you guys, my channel would be nothing. But I guess the point is, without me, it also would be nothing, but you guys are a little bit more important, because I can upload videos as I want. If no one watches them, you know, it doesn't really do anything. But I hope you have a guten Rutsch into the new year. I hope you have an amazing 2026. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you stay in the next year as well. And even if you don't, thank you that you were here to share this amazing time. Have a good one, and I'm out.